What if I told you that one of the greatest empires in human history began as nothing more than a fragile village of mud huts? Before the marble temples, before the legions, before emperors ruled millions, Rome was just a small settlement on the banks of the Tiber River in central Italy. Surrounded by rivals, vulnerable, ordinary. Legend says it was founded in 753 BC by Romulus, a child abandoned to die and raised by a she-wolf. Myth or not, Rome was born from struggle. Built across 7 hills, its position allowed trade along the Tiber and defense against enemies. The Romans learned from powerful neighbors, the Etruscans to the north and the Greek colonies in the south. From them came engineering, writing, religion, and military organization. In its earliest days, Rome was ruled by kings, but in 509 BC, the Romans overthrew their last king, Tarquin the Proud. They made a radical decision that would define their future. Never again would one man rule them absolutely. They created a republic. The Roman Republic was built on balance. Power was divided among elected officials and a powerful Senate. 2 consuls ruled at the same time, each able to check the other. It was a system designed to prevent tyranny, but it also fueled ambition. Competition pushed Rome forward. Discipline forged strength. Roman legions expanded across the Italian peninsula, defeating rival tribes one by one. Then came a true test. Carthage, wealthy, powerful, and dominant in North Africa, stood in Rome's way. The Punic Wars erupted. One of history's boldest moves followed when Hannibal marched war elephants across the Alps into Italy itself. For years, Rome seemed on the brink of destruction, but surrender was not in its nature. Rome adapted, it endured, and in 146 BC, Carthage was destroyed. Rome emerged as master of the Western Mediterranean. Victory brought expansion. Roman legions marched into Greece, Asia Minor, and North Africa. Roads stretched across continents. Fortresses secured distant borders. Wealth poured into Rome: gold, grain, slaves, and resources from conquered lands. The Republic had become a superpower. Wealth concentrated in the hands of elites. Small farmers struggled. Political corruption spread through the Senate. The gap between rich and poor widened dangerously. The system meant to prevent kings began to weaken under pressure. Rome had conquered the world, but inside it was beginning to fracture. By the 1st century BC, civil wars tore through the Republic. Generals gained loyalty from their soldiers, not for Rome, but for themselves. Among them rose Julius Caesar, brilliant, ambitious, unstoppable. He conquered Gaul, expanding Rome's territory dramatically. Then, in 49 BC, he crossed the Rubicon River with his army, openly defying the Senate. It was an act of rebellion that made civil war inevitable. Caesar emerged victorious and declared himself dictator for life. Many feared he aimed to become king, the very thing Rome had sworn never to allow. On March 15, 44 BC, the Ides of March, senators stabbed him to death. They believed they were saving the Republic. Instead, they plunged Rome deeper into chaos. Another civil war followed. Alliances formed and shattered. At the center stood Octavian, Caesar's adopted son. Patient and calculating, he defeated his rivals, including Mark Antony and Cleopatra, at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. In 27 BC, he took the title Augustus. Though he claimed to restore the Republic, real power rested firmly in his hands. The Roman Empire had begun. Augustus brought stability after decades of bloodshed. He reformed the army, improved taxation, and expanded infrastructure. Under his leadership, Rome entered a long era of relative peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, the Roman peace. For nearly 2 centuries, the empire thrived. At its height in the 2nd century AD, Rome stretched from Britain to the Middle East, from North Africa to Germany. Emperors like Trajan and Hadrian strengthened borders. Marcus Aurelius ruled as both philosopher and warrior. Roman engineering reshaped the world. Aqueducts carried fresh water into cities, roads connected distant provinces. The Colosseum hosted massive spectacles. Roman law developed into a sophisticated system that still influences modern governments. Trade networks moved goods, ideas, and culture across vast distances. Latin became the language of power. Rome was no longer just a city, it was a civilization. Yet even at its peak, change was coming. In the 1st century AD, a new faith began to spread quietly across the empire: Christianity. At first, Christians were persecuted, especially under emperors like Nero, but the religion continued to grow. In the early 4th century, Emperor Constantine changed history. After winning a civil war, he converted to Christianity and issued the Edict of Milan in 313 AD, granting religious tolerance. Christianity gradually became the dominant religion of the empire, transforming Roman culture and identity. Despite its strength, Rome faced mounting challenges. Political instability returned. Emperors were frequently overthrown or assassinated. Between 235 and 284 AD, the empire endured the crisis of the 3rd century, a time of economic collapse, invasions, and internal conflict. Germanic tribes and Persian forces attacked its borders. Inflation weakened the economy. To manage the strain, Emperor Diocletian divided the empire into eastern and western halves. Later, Constantine founded a new capital in the east, Constantinople. The eastern half grew stronger and more stable. The western half struggled. In the 4th and 5th centuries, pressure intensified. Germanic tribes such as the Visigoths and Vandals crossed into Roman territory. In 410 AD, the Visigoths sacked Rome, shocking the ancient world. Though the city survived, its dominance did not. Territory shrank, authority weakened. Finally, in 476 AD, a Germanic leader named Odoacer removed the last Western Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, from power. The Western Roman Empire had fallen. But Rome's story did not end there. The Eastern Roman Empire, known as the Byzantine Empire, continued for nearly another 1,000 years. More importantly, Rome's influence never disappeared. Roman law shaped modern legal systems. Architectural designs inspired future civilizations. The idea of a republic influenced governments around the world. Principles such as innocent until proven guilty trace back to Roman tradition. The ruins of the Colosseum and the Roman Forum still stand today, reminders of a civilization that once ruled vast lands and millions of people. The rise and fall of the Roman Empire is not just a story of conquest and collapse, it is a story of ambition, innovation, power, faith, resilience, and transformation. From a small village on 7 hills to the ruler of the Mediterranean world, Rome reshaped history in ways few civilizations ever have. Its empire may have fallen, but its legacy remains eternal.